people get involved in your campaign. They say, you know what, I love this woman, I love what she's doing, she's fighting for us. This is John Villarreal reporting for Conservative New Media.
Conservative Media viewers, what's up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, JDV, and Paul Villarreal, PFV right there. Now, we want to talk about this whole Obama situation regarding the Mosque application at ground zero and what's going on with this and this whole controversy that's now gone white hot. Now, Paul, give us the foundation of what's going on, give us the background on this, and also Obama's really triple statements here. I mean, it almost changes daily and bi-daily of he keeps modifying and clarifying and everything like that.
Yeah, the summary of what's going on here is Obama decided, kind of as a political stunt, he's being, praised, oh, he's so courageous. This wasn't about courage. This was a political calculation. He decided at the Ramadan dinner at the White House, I think on Friday.
Yeah, the iftar dinner.
What's that?
The iftar dinner.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. He decided to basically kind of give a general statement, or supposedly kind of a general statement in support of religious tolerance and the Constitution and religious liberty, and essentially in support of the mosque. And what's happened is enormous, immediate backlash that could have contributed to his lowest standing in the Gallup daily tracking poll today of 42% approval, 49% disapproval. But even if it didn't contribute to that, he's getting criticized, just a firestorm. He's already been forced to clarify his comments at least one time. And what people are saying, what critics are saying is, look, this isn't an issue of religious tolerance. Sure, people have the right to establish a mosque or a synagogue or whatever, wherever they want to in this country, or wherever is legally allowed. We have that constitutional right. It's an issue of sensitivity. And it's kind of, people feel like this is being antagonistic towards the 9/11 victims' families, and kind of the hallowed ground of ground zero. And the case that's being made is something like, look, what if a church that preached racial separation kind of set up shop right down the street from like Martin Luther King's grave or something? Sure, they might have the legal right to do that, but it's insensitive, it's inflammatory, it shouldn't happen. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Obama is in full retreat, and he's in free fall.
Well, so here's the thing. Let me. Those are good comments, but let me reset the table here. What we have is ground zero, 2 blocks away from this proposed site to build the mosque, and this is private property. I believe it's owned or co-owned by this Islamic organization, and they've gone through all the regular permits, everything like that, to get this mosque built. So under private property, Constitution is that they have every right to build a mosque, and they have done everything they need to do to build a mosque. Now, not unforeseen, a lot of people in New York and some 9/11 victim families were really upset about this, and there has been some talk that it's a victory mosque, that when Islamic extremists or whatever, like beat someone or whatever, they do these victory buildings or mosques or something like that. I really am not that familiar with any of that, but that's what's been said.
Well, I'll just say on that point, the plan of the mosque, I believe it was named the Cordova House, and apparently in Spain there was a mosque erected, or the town of Cordova or something along those lines, and it was like where some great, I think a great victory was won, over the infidel or something along these lines. So it's kind of like, well, wait a second, what are you trying to do? Recreate that with the...
Yeah, what does it mean?
So, I mean, that was kind of, for a lot of people, that they felt that was kind of a tip-off.
Okay. And then Mayor Bloomberg got in the mix, and things have been going on for a long time. Then Mayor Bloomberg's got in the mix, and he said, look, he was basically in support of the building of the mosque and whatnot. Obama didn't say anything, and in fact, Robert Gibbs stayed out of it for a long time. We don't have a comment, this and that, whatever. Then at this iftar dinner, Obama jumps in foursquare. Now you need to know this. About 7 in 10 Americans, based on the latest poll, are against this mosque being built there. That doesn't mean it should or shouldn't be built, rather. I mean, we don't have, constitutional rights up for public vote. However, if you look at, again, politically, and you just look at where the majority of people are, this is a hot topic politically, and it's a big loser for people that are pro having the Mosque bill. Now, again, I'm just trying to set the table here. I haven't even talked about what I think yet. Now, Obama comes in this thing, and by his statements, a lot of people are characterizing this. In fact, from what I heard, it was very, as he said, let me be clear. And you're never clear, fool. Okay? I mean, you're clear to me because I understand where you're coming from. I've known what you're all about from Jump Street, from years ago. Paul the same way too. So I've been around folks like you at Berkeley and law school and the rest of the, in professional life and political life. So I know what the agenda is. Now, here's the thing. His statement was basically, look, we're for religious freedom here and blah, 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 blah. They have the right to practice a religion like anyone else. Okay, nobody said anything about they can't practice their religion or we're against Islam. And the way that Obama kind of came out with this, and I don't have the quotes in front of me, we can get them, but it's very clear. We'll link to the stuff, we'll put it in the bottom. It was basically like, you know what? If you're not for, you people, you Americans that are against it, or, it was almost like perhaps he was saying you're bigots, you're religious bigots, and you're idiots. And then he had to walk it back when he was getting huge blowbacks. I'm sure he got calls from, congressional, Democrat congressional leaders, not leaders, but people, Democrat Congress people, like, what are you doing? You're killing us for the elections. I mean, just when they were getting the Gulf oil thing off the pages, here comes this, and he's blowing it up. And then he tries like, well, I didn't see. The next day when he was at the Gulf, oil thing down there, trying to, promote that, trying to promote tourism and stuff like that, like, hey, it's okay to come back here again. But he didn't go swimming. Just want you to know that. And he had his little suit on because it don't show stick legs, in my personal opinion. And it's like, then he's like, well, I didn't say that they should build it there or something like that, but they have the right to. And then he had to come back and flip around on that and say, well, no, he stands by the statements that he said before at the iftar dinner. I mean, this guy is just he's all over the place. So, but I think it's the larger image here of where this guy's coming from, which is basically, shoot first, ask questions later, and hit yourself in the foot every time. And then, figuratively shoot first. And that's like, Gates. Oh, they acted stupidly. Police officers acted stupidly. Oh, well, then he needs a beer summit. Shooting his mouth off about this. And then, saying that, oh, I don't need to hear for the, I don't need to talk to the people that got us in this mess, whether it was the financial crisis or not talking to Republicans with the stimulus thing, or stuff that he said about the healthcare stuff, even in the campaign, the bitter clingers and that, guns and religion, stuff like that, the secretly taped, or whether he said stuff, where he was popping off about the oil companies and stuff related to the Gulf oil spill, but then he figured out, oh, geez, well, government's not going to be able to do this. We need we need BP's help. We need oil people. And it's like he just continues to do this of just popping off at the mouth, and it always kind of sort of reveals its elitism and its I would say, mainstream American bias almost.